Well, indeed, the situation has been quite chaotic there for a few days now, with very contrary information we've been receiving, and understandably so, because they come on the one part by the aggressor, by Russia, and on the other part by the army which is defending this city, the Ukrainian army. So you've mentioned this operation that seems to have taken place in Pokrovsk, where we've seen those videos of a helicopter bringing Ukrainian special forces at an undisclosed location. Nobody from the press at least could identify if that video was indeed within Pokrovsk or nearby in the satellite city of Mirnograd, for example. But Kyiv claims that those people are part of a larger operation to try and maintain the logistics for its army, because we've heard over the past few days that logistics have been the main challenge for Ukrainians to maintain amidst this renewed offensive by Russians. Moscow said that this operation has failed, which is, as you mentioned, something that Kyiv denies. On Kyiv's side, President Zelensky had said that Ukrainian forces are fighting and are outnumbered by 1 to 8 in favor of Russia, and that around 200 Russian soldiers are within the city, have managed to infiltrate the city. And unfortunately, there's the fighting going on, but there's also the remaining civilians. Almost nobody stayed in Pokrovsk. It was a city that I visited last in January, and last summer there were still 60,000 people, at least, including displaced people from cities further east. Of that population, almost nobody remains, but those who do, there are elderly people, there are people who cannot leave their relatives, there are people who don't have the means to leave, and among those people we've seen videos circulating of crimes that have been committed by Russian troops infiltrated in the city. I mean by that civilians have been executed in the streets around the sector of the station. So that's also the reality. Once Russia comes to a Ukrainian city and it claims to liberate it, the reality for people under that occupation, it is often torture, it is often being murdered by the occupier, and this is why the Ukrainian troops are fighting not only to defend a strategic position, as is Pokrovsk. It used to be a logistic hub of utmost importance in Donetsk region, but also because people living under Russian occupation would then face those treatment by the Russian occupier.
Emmanuelle, this has been an advance over a year in the making from Moscow. It has tried and failed many times to actually get its hands on Pokrovsk. You talk about its strategic position. If it falls, what does that mean for the rest of Donetsk? I'm thinking the likes of Kramatorsk, Sloviansk, these crucial cities that remain in Ukrainian control.
Well, with Kramatorsk and Sloviansk, Pokrovsk was one of the three main fortresses of Donbass, of the free part of Donbass that remains within the hand of Ukrainian troops. So, of course, the loss would be felt by the Ukrainian army, but you've mentioned it as well. Russians have been closing in on Pokrovsk for over a year, and that is far from a victory in itself. Russia doesn't have the means to conquer the city. So what it does is that it completely destroys it, it transforms it into rubble, it kills civilians who are remaining. And if we look at the timeline, it has been over a year, which means that we're very much still in this war of attrition, which is very costly for the Russian side, in equipment, in personnel also. And we see that even if at the time the Ukrainian army doesn't manage to repel the aggressor, we see also that Russia, as many personnel as it has, as many equipment it has, and it's much more than Ukraine, 8 to 1, it still doesn't manage to completely, overwhelm the Ukrainian army. So we will see those cities that have become garrison cities of Kramatorsk and Sloviansk coming under way more pressure, but they already are. It's already very difficult to be in those cities because they are under daily threat of glide bombs, daily threat of FPV drones. So this is going to be probably lasting for another weeks, another months. What we see in Pokrovsk is just what Russians have done in other cities of the front line area here in Ukraine.